syllabus and just kind of, why did I just get a recording in progress thing now?
I did too.
I pressed it because I didn't hear it before and I wanted to make sure we captured the conversation.
Okay, got it. Cool. I'm hoping, okay. So the syllabus and the flow of the class, and definitely questions and answers and ideas. And really, we've left some of the content open, because if everyone was like starting a food truck, then we would tailor the content to food trucks. Does that sound good?
Yep.
And this is being recorded, so we can, look at this online later. So the first class is, okay, backing up. Classes are Tuesday and Thursday nights. Those are the core classes in the classroom. It's live, and one of the kind of the magic ingredients of CR Commons in our classes in the past have been that live experience, creating a tight container and having the students help each other out. And there's a certain energy that's I mean, Jacinta and Carmen can attest to that. And if people are sick or can't make it, then I just throw my iPhone on the counter and hit record. It's not like a high value production. It's just so you can hear the audio and you don't miss the class. Wednesday afternoons from 12 to 1 is our accountability group. And that's really good if you show up to them all and be accountable. So the format of that is we do 4 rounds. The first round is a check-in, highs and lows for the week, be it personal and or business. Then a restatement of your SMART goal from the previous week. My goal from last week was to get my cottage food license finalized. And then, did you do it or not do it? And if you didn't do it, what did you do instead? So you might have like, well, I had this great opportunity to do XYZ, so I had to do that and drop everything. Or it could be, hey, they didn't get back to me, so I couldn't finish my license. But that's kind of the accountability part of, did I do it or not do it? And to create a goal that's really clear. There's a section in the middle for peer mentoring, like, hey, I was thinking, should I call my business Gold Lantern Bakery or Golden Lantern? And you just get feedback from people. And then the last round is setting goals for the next week. So that's why if you come every week, then you have your goal from last week and you can say whether you did it or not. There are statistics that say if you say your goal out loud to a group, you're something like 95% more likely to accomplish that goal. So it's one component of the class. There's the classroom dynamic, and then there's the accountability group, which is what I consider peer mentoring. And then there's one-to-one business advising, where you sit down with an advisor. I'm an advisor, Monty's an advisor, and there's a whole team of other advisors that we match make and set you up with the right small business development advisor. And these are highly professional people that are free to you. And so there's one-on-one class setting and peer mentoring. So that's the formula. That's our secret sauce to this whole thing. The first class is has about permitting and licensing. Amy and Ronnie, who's the director at, who is responsible at the county for giving out these licenses or working with people for the licensing, is there. So when you have questions about cottage food licensing, that is the buck stops with Amy. Amy, I just found this out like an hour ago. Susan Leverton from California Department of Health Food and Drug Branch is going to be presenting. She's a senior staff specialist and is going to be presenting on PFR licensing. So that's, broader type of licensing with more, you all know about this more than I do, to be honest with you. But it's a broader licensing. So we want to do some of this stuff early because it's so important on how you plan and execute your business. Arno Hess is talking about funding opportunities and alternative. Dana, you want to just give a brief on Arno?
Yeah, absolutely. So I launched a nonprofit maybe 13 years ago in Oakland called Food Shift, and I've been doing food entrepreneurship for about 20 years. And one of the most challenging pieces of my journey is definitely building a team from nothing. And you've got limited resources and you're trying to make a profit and you have so much work to do and this big vision. And so I want to talk more about that challenge and prepare you as much as possible for how to build a team successfully. And a big part of that conversation is really getting clear on of course, your mission, what you're trying to accomplish, what you need to get there, and then some of the softer stuff that's so important, like your values. So who do you want to invite onto the team and how do you want to make sure you're aligned? And then we'll talk a bit too about the importance of job descriptions and orientations, so that when you do bring people on, they're really ready to dive in and get going on what needs to happen.
Excellent. I'm super looking forward to your session. And co-presenting, and this was also just confirmed today, is the executive director of workforce development, Alliance for Workforce Development in Nevada County, and it's Christine. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Zazu, I think it is. And anyways, they have a on-the-job training program, and it allows for businesses to hire employees, and it's subsidized for a short period of time, like 6 months. And so if you're scaling your business, one of the biggest hurdles is, okay, I got these big orders. Now I need to hire people to fulfill the orders, but I don't have enough money to hire these people. And so there's the on-the-job training. And so that's a key component to help businesses scale up and get ready to move from selling it to just friends and family to go on bigger time. So that's exciting. Arno is teaching. He's part of Slow Money Northern California, has founded multiple businesses and focuses on funding businesses. We're going on the theory that a lot of businesses that maybe you could relate to aren't ready to go get $1 million loan. Maybe no one would give them $1 million loan at this point, but 50,000 or 100,000 could make a huge difference in an early startup. And some people might not have a house to put a second mortgage or a lot of equity, so it's hard to start and grow a business. And so there are alternatives, and we want to focus on that because we believe that there's a lot of potential for food entrepreneurism and growth, but funding is a big issue. So Arno is a powerhouse. Moni, you want to talk about your 2 sessions, the manufacturing and scalability and the sourcing, storage, packaging, shelf life? I know we got to come up with a better name for that one,
but sure. Thank you. These words sound like a factory. I mean, I was also executive chef for Just Desserts. They started as a local little retail coffee shop in the Bay Area in the 70s. When I worked with them, it was a massive, oven with depositors and brownie bites, 5 trays across going through. But if you're making 2 dozen sauces for the weekend farmers market, you're manufacturing. And so from my point of view, part of that comes down to scaling, like getting out your kitchen scale, making sure you can capture your weights and measures so you can be consistent, so you can scale up and down as need be, so you can monitor your costs, so you can do your inventory, all that fun stuff. That's one aspect of it. Another aspect is going to be like, and this kind of goes back to what you said a few minutes ago, Robert, is hearing what everyone's working on will affect, what I want to talk about and present. I always try to bring in examples of food businesses, either that I heard about that are local that you can aspire to, or maybe somebody I've worked with, or maybe both. But I like to make sure what I'm talking about and what I'm presenting is relevant, and that I can connect it to what you're working on. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to be here today, to hear what everyone's up to. Oh, and before I forget, Carmen, did you say you started as a cottage foods business, Carmen, the Ola Tortilla?
Yes.
And now you have a shop?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, do you know Chelo's Street Tacos?
Oh, we're working together. I'm his cottage. I'm his commissary.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, cool. As soon as you said Ola Tortilla, I was like, wait a minute, how many tortilla companies can there be?
Delicious tacos. We went for his soft opening, and then he was on Pioneer Park on Sunday, and he sold out. He had to go to SPD and buy all the Ola tortillas so he could keep making tacos.
Wow. I went there and I looked at the shelf and I was like, there's only 2 bags left. Dang. That must have been what happened. Okay, wonderful, Moni. Thank you so much, and thank you for participating.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of applies to the second class as well, really bringing it down to what you're working on. And if there's other issues that come up that you've talked about from your permitting or various things that you have to apply for, I have been there to coach people, to let them cry on my shoulder, usually over the phone. But, hopefully we can call upon each week if there's still other components out there that people are working on from another class. Most of us will have experience, can help you if it's not covered in your weekly or Wednesday check-in class. But anyway, thank you, and I'm really glad to hear that Chelo's Tacos is doing so well.
Yeah, and if that's not enough of Moni's experience, he's also led, I think, 4 programs similar to the food entrepreneur. It's like regionally done at least 4 sessions, right?
Yeah, we've done a Food Inc., which is a hands-on incubator, one in Oakland, one in Solano, one in Yuba. One in Yuba, Solano Community College, one in Yuba, Sutter Community College, and then one in Sonoma County in Santa Rosa last spring. And a wide variety of businesses, making fresh for a farmer's market, packaging a product up, packaging something for a very sort of curated, vending machine, retail, to-go shop, small scale restaurant, food truck, just every kind of business. So you have to be nimble on your feet and in your mind, which I'm not being right now. Haven't had my afternoon coffee, to make that content relevant to everybody and do the research to help each of them with their individual goals when you have them all in an incubator. And it's really a pleasure to see some of these businesses having taken off and growing and going and moving to the next level.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And well, we have Chris and Michelle here, both from Briar Patch. You want to give a little preview of what you might be presenting?
I'll jump in first, and then Michelle, you can add anything. I mean, honestly, my interest in attending this call was to learn a little more from you about what specifically you're hoping to get from us, because we're new to this, to the Entrepreneur Accelerator program. So trying to understand, maybe specifically why you thought of us to join this. You had given the topic of pricing and distribution, and that, I think maybe I have a little concern around that, because we're not really focused on distribution. Like, that's not our area of expertise. What we are more prepared to talk about is what it takes to bring a product to a retail environment, directly, not through distribution. When things end up in distribution, that's very hands off for us, and the direct relationship with the manufacturer, I hesitate to say it diminishes, but that's accurate in some respect because we're just placing an order with a larger entity like Tony's or UNFI or whoever is doing the distribution. When we've had local folks who have grown to the level of considering distribution, really for us, it's a handoff. So, Michelle works with folks who are kind of coming up at that level of they're relatively new and smaller scale, and they're going to be folks who are going to be delivering directly to the store. So I think, maybe pricing and retail might be a more apt descriptor.
All right, noted.
And of course, if there's a gap there around distribution that you want to try to fill, then I completely respect that, but I would not imagine that we would be the best subject matter experts for that.
Okay, I appreciate that. So I'll let Michelle go, and then maybe I'll address some of your curiosities.
Yeah, I definitely would second that, what Chris was saying about distribution. I think, what I would like to share is just how to build the relationship between vendors and the retailers. I feel like that's something that we've really worked on, building strong relationships so both Briar Patch can grow and the vendors can grow together. And so what have been some key strategies that we've had to really grow some successful businesses, and anywhere from like talking about setting promotions for the years with Briar Patch, how we can be successful for that, how not to underprice yourself. I've seen lots of businesses come in and, well, what do you want me to price this at? It's like, well, what do you need this to be priced at to make your business viable? And then we can talk promotion. So I'd love to kind of look more, talk a little bit more about strategy on how to how to be successful, once you hit the store shelves, and how you could keep working with the businesses on that end of it. And then also how to show up, like, when you're presenting a business with your product, how to show up in a way that we're going to love to put you on our shelf and work with you and be really excited, and how to just cultivate that relationship. The distribution, there is a certain bit of it as far as like getting it to us that I could talk on the expectation around that. I'm happy to talk about that. But as far as like serving as a distributor, I definitely don't feel prepared for that.
Okay, that is very clear, and I really appreciate that. I'll throw in my 2 cents, and I'd love to hear from some of the prospective students as well, what they're looking for. But I think the key part is from your, everyone loves Briar Patch. You're like the gold standard, and the types of food entrepreneurs that we're seeing and that are on this call, I imagine would love to be in Briar Patch. So what is it that would get a food producer to a place where Briar Patch says yes? What does that take? And that, I think, is a great goal to work towards in creating products and brand. The distribution part was, I think, a little bit of a legacy of when I first started, brainstorming and throwing class ideas together. But there is a pathway, I think, perhaps from the farmer's market to a store like Briar Patch to a distributor. And maybe most of our people will never get to the distribution. Maybe we hope they won't. Maybe it is all, regional, and as long as it allows them to create a good livelihood for themselves, and keep the quality up and do all the things that they want to do that's in their heart and their vision to create the business, then right on. It doesn't have to be at Walmart, So perhaps, the primary thing of what it takes to get Briar Patch to say yes. And I hear, Michelle, that there's a lot of back and forth and working with the producers to build a relationship that works for both people. So there's a lot to cover there, I'm sure. And if that was how your time was spent during class, I think it would be extremely high value.
Cool. That's what we assumed. We thought that, folks who are likely to be attendees are probably, if they're thinking about shelf stable food products, they're probably thinking about Briar Patch as like a milestone of how they're coming to market. Not everybody, of course, is going to be thinking that, but I think many folks do. So I think we can provide a lot of information in that vein.
Yeah. So I'm seeing 7 or so food producers or aspiring food producers. We have kind of the rock stars at Briar Patch here. What would you like them to present?
I would like to know for as a farmer, or what is needed to get into our products into Briar Patch.
Cool.
Specifically for farm like produce, direct produce, or are you thinking shelf stable,
Produce.
value added produce?
Produce.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can add that into the mix for sure.
Yeah, you do turkeys, I think you said earlier.
Yeah, we raise our own turkeys and sell them usually in November. So they're all pasture raised turkeys.
Nice.
Great.
Wonderful. Okay. As always with these kinds of meetings, it's like, oh, where'd the time go? So I'm going to just zip through the rest. Thank you for the presenters doing that. There's going to be a roundtable of a discussion of food producers that are, probably food producers that maybe already are in Briar Patch. And it's a good way to hear about their experiences. Oftentimes sharing their mistakes and what to avoid is super valuable. But that one session is going to just be more conversational. Dana talked about her session. Chelsea is presenting about creating brands. Chelsea has big brand experience and has also worked with food incubators and helped bring products up. So it's going to be a really in-depth, and I encourage you to check out her LinkedIn bio. It's quite impressive. She actually did just go to Walmart to get her frozen tea in Walmart, and that's looks like it's going well. And she's worked with Sonoma brands and a lot of food products that you might recognize. So that's going to be amazing. The second to last class is something that if students pass through a couple milestones in the class, we're going to have a panel discussion. It's like a pitch fest where you get to present your product. And no matter what stage you're at, you present your product. It's going to be a multidisciplinary team of the instructors as well as some potential investors or people coming from an investor point of view. So it's not necessarily like I'm going to present and I'm going to, it's not a Shark Tank. It's more of holistically looking at your business from a bunch of different expertise and then getting feedback on maybe some holes and some, where you're on the right path. But if there's any red flags, it's a good time to hear about it at the earlier stage rather than the later stage. And then finally, there's a graduation party, and I cannot say food fair because Amy Irani at the health department said you cannot have a food fair, but we can have an invite only food demonstration where we get to share the food products. And depending on weather and stuff like that, it'll probably be at Sierra Commons, but we might find another location. But that could be a really fun opportunity. And depending on what the interest level is with the students, we can invite media there and to make a little, splash of these new food entrepreneurs to feature our partners and sponsors and anyone that's interested to hype it up and get the next batch of food entrepreneurs in the class. So once the class is over, it's not just over. There's continuing accountability groups. And what we're hoping to do is create meetups or opportunities to build community of the producers that are outside of the farmer market, another place for people that are in the trenches to get together, share resources, and continue on, and hopefully present at the next roundtable as one of those food businesses that have gone from one stage to a little bit larger stage. So I'm going to stop yakking here, and just to say that I do have a little secret offer at the end of the presentation for those who are interested in signing up. So I will just open the mic up for questions for the presenters, or if the presenters have questions.
Hey, Robert, you and I had tossed back and forth the idea of hosting the Briar Patch session at one of the stores. Is that something you still want to talk about, or did you decide you prefer to keep the location consistent at Sierra Commons?
I am totally open to that. I just, frankly, I had just a lot of moving parts of just like, I just got to launch this thing,
Yeah, I understand.
I think it would be wonderful, especially like, maybe you and Michelle want to do a tour on the floor of Briar Patch, and if you could reserve the community room, that would be amazing. If it's still available, I should have jumped on it when we spoke last about it.
Do you have an opinion about it, Michelle?
I would love to do it at one of the stores. Yeah, that's definitely my preference.
Do you think it presents an undue burden for attendees, especially if we chose Auburn?
Yes.
Pages. So can we do Grass Valley?
Okay.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Paige has a question.
Maybe next time we do it all at Briar Patch. Go ahead, Dana.
Paige has a question.
Oh.
Paige, do you want to go ahead with your question?
Yes, I have a couple questions. One of the things I'm interested in and was wondering if there would be a platform for is just someone who's doing this out of your home, and just what I hear from a lot of bakers like myself, we're just making enough money to buy the ingredients to make the orders for the next week, so we're kind of living this dough-to-dough check, and is there ways for even people to help invest into people to even be able to like get licensing and get different things and really even help build this? So that would be a big thing for me, is wanting to see like investors and other people that would be interested in participating there. And then the other one is on Wednesdays, I do a pop-up at Communal Cafe between 11 and 2. So that would mean I would not be able to make any of the accountability groups. And that would be a huge bummer for me. So I was wondering if there was a way that maybe we could propose a time that's not during the middle of the day. So maybe more participants could come or something like that. If maybe it's like, 3 to 4 on Wednesdays as opposed to noon to 1. So those were some of the questions. And then Tuesday also was like a huge cook-off day for me, and I'm usually baking till like 11 p.m. at night. So it'd be a huge shift for me too to try to figure out that schedule. So it's just more, I think, scheduling things is my hesitation, and finances. And a couple other people that I've been talking to about this program, because I think it's so epic, their big reserve too was the money issue. So I was wondering if there was a way for that if there was like a payment plan or something, so more people could actually take advantage of all of these epic resources and programs that you guys are providing.
Okay, there's
Thank
a
you.
lot there. So the time definitely open to accommodating a time shift on the accountability group. It's very difficult as a coordinator. We used to do like the business igniter class in the morning one time a year, and then at night the other time of the year. And we never made, like, everyone always like, oh, if it was this time I could do it, if it was that time. So it is challenging, but I hear you about the Wednesday accountability group, and I'll definitely consider that. There's a bit of a cart before the horse or order of things. I would wish everyone signed up and then did a doodle calendar of when is everybody available to accommodate the most
Right.
people, but it's hard it's difficult. So Paige, I will say I will try.
Mhm.
As far as the help on more bigger ecosystem stuff, we're working on that
Mhm.
actually. And Briar Patch is working on that, and Sierra Harvest is working on that. And we're trying to find our place in that. There's a program that Sierra Commons is working with the Economic Resource Council, the county regional, and there's something called the Jobs First America or California Jobs First. It's regional funding. There's $9 million coming down the pipe, and we're working hard to get our fair share of that. And Dana has been working very closely on this project to position the Sierra Commons food program in a much broader regional aspect. So I know about, we had brief conversation about your commissary kitchen idea, and I'd love to talk to you more about it. Maybe Dana, in my absence, you could talk to Paige about that and weave it into
Sure.
our
I'd
proposal.
love to.
And then as far as finance goes, we do offer, we are offering 3 DEI scholarships. And on the sierracommons.org, there's a FAQ with instructions about that. There's early bird pricing through January 2nd. And that is, I think Michelle was saying something about right pricing.
Mhm.
And people come in and say, oh, well, what do you want me to price it at? Sierra Commons is historically been super undervaluing ourselves, and it's really starting to hurt. And in order for us to sustain ourselves, we have to charge what we feel like we did the calculation. And this is like what was it, $2,700, Dana? We looked at all the class time and
Right. A value of over $2,000 for the entire course series and time and advising hours.
yeah. So we're actually sticking our neck way out on this. So we're doing the best we can as far as pricing goes while trying to be inclusive.
And a couple things to add there too, Robert. Just how much we're diving into the scholarship realm. Right now we have 3 available for diversity, equity, inclusion scholarships, and we're actively pursuing some other sponsors so that we can offer greater access to people who may have different financial needs.
Paige, did we get all of them? Okay. Anyone else? Go ahead, Jacinta.
This is more of to help guide maybe some of the topics that will get covered during the course. As I'm launching my business, I'm still trying to figure out the right pricing. I'm working wholesale right now, but ideally I would like to start converting most of my ingredients to be sourced locally. And I don't know where to start because right now it doesn't mash up, right? I want to keep a pricing that's accessible to all and be at a reasonable price, but I also want to support local farms and just trying to figure out like how to make the puzzle pieces fit. That would be super helpful for me, and also for Manning's courses scaling up, because right now I'm starting to get orders and I just have a single wall oven, so I'm making it work for now, but I think I might outgrow it soon, so I need to figure out what to do next.
Noted. I don't think you're alone on those issues. It's definitely something.
As I was going to say, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm doing with the business. I'm trying to create a nonprofit that helps the whole vision behind all of this, eventually to create the nonprofit that helps exactly what your needs are and giving people resources to be able to know exactly what farms provide what to source locally within what we're considering your watersheds. So the Sacramento River watershed, that would be all of the, like, you would have the list of everybody that offers all the things that we would need food wise within our watershed. And so that is something I'm working on with my partner to create that list and giving food entrepreneurs these options to really source locally.
Amazing, thank you.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Joseph, I see your camera turned on. Welcome. Not sure if you
Hey, there you are.
Hi,
Yeah.
Joseph. Welcome.
There was a 2-year-old running around for a couple minutes.
Cool. Did you have a question or something to add, or?
No, I'm just taking it all in. Thanks.
Okay.
So I have a question, maybe someone could help or try and I guess, what's the advantage of going profit versus nonprofit? That's where I'm not sure what direction to go.
Mhm.
We're going to do both because they both like support each other. The for-profit with selling the product and the nonprofit then helps support the for-profit and vice versa. So I
Okay.
would definitely love a class and more information on for-profit license, nonprofit license, and the difference and how to combine the two as well. That would be something I'd be very interested in and having a class on that as well.
It's a
Oh,
great
definitely.
idea.
That's a really
Definitely.
good point, and in 4 minutes, I don't have time to answer that question fully. One of the things that I forgot to say, which is an important point, is that this food entrepreneur class is rolling, and it's 5 weeks, and then there's a couple-week break, and then March 5th, the Business Igniter course starts. And that's more like business backbone, entity selection. Should I be a nonprofit? What about bookkeeping? What about like the core aspects of running a business?
Mhm.
And the food entrepreneur is specifically to food issues.
Right.
So
Right.
we're trying to create a pathway of education. Some argue that the Igniter course should come first, but it is what it is. And this this is what we're doing. And then Paige, there's also one-to-one business advising through the Small Business Development Center. And by the way, nonprofits can sell things. So
Right.
you don't have to create two entities necessarily. Excuse me.
Can I toss out a couple thoughts?
Sure.
There we go. Jacinta, yeah, I definitely hear you about costing, scaling, capturing your recipes, scaling up and down. So that's definitely something I like to work with through my presentations. And you can't always get in the course of just 2 hours. So that's why I show up a couple of different times and then support you. And then through that last presentation. And Victor, I did a mangled version in the chat, but I think having this course go over a certain number of weeks and having me present over 2 different times, hopefully the other advisors, gives us time to kind of delve into that question you raised about what you need to sell X if you're primarily a farmer Y.
Right.
So that, again, that's not something probably you can answer in just a few minutes. And the last thing I want to throw out is, Robert, you mentioned that the person from the health department didn't want you to use the phrase food fair. And I would use that as an example, especially since the first class coming up is about permits and, the PFR, all that stuff. Health department inspectors often are by the book. And just in this group, everybody says a slight variation on a theme. And they don't always think. Their guidelines aren't always written in a way that they can just riff. So listen to what they say. Have respect for them, do your own research, and I can help you. I could give you a number of examples, I won't waste your time, where the inspectors gave out the wrong information or said something in a way that just people perceived it as such a sort of business-like prevention concept. So it's a good class to have, but then we can sort of, like I said, hold your hand, finesse, navigate our way through all those various permitting processes.
Yeah.
You're on mute, Robert.
I didn't want everyone to hear me choking. So in the chat, I put a link to our Eventbrite. Some of you may know I'm going on vacation starting on Wednesday. I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks, and I wanted to leave with knowing that we had the first registration happening. So I set up a code, it's for one ticket, a code that's $200 off. It's dumpling,
Wow.
and it expires in an hour. I just thought I'd, throw that out there to the people that are on this call if you're ready to register.
Yeah.
Great.
Dana and I will be around for questions. I'll stick around. I don't know, Dana, if you have time after this call.
Mhm.
If there's any additional questions, I don't want to keep people too long. It's 3:00, and I love being punctual, not to waste
Same.
people's time. I appreciate everyone showing up, contributing, doing what you're doing, teaching, making good local food, all that stuff. So thank you so much for showing up, and I'm really stoked to be launching this class with everybody.
Great. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, can I ask something?
Sure. And if you
So,
gotta go, we understand.
we have a technic emergency here. Our big mixer died. So before I've got help from Minor Mo, but if she's not available, maybe someone knows or a place where I can come in Thursday early morning to mix up her batches. I'll be appreciated.
River, she has a spare dough mixer. I think she's trying to get rid of it, but she might be open to renting it out. I don't know. You can reach out to her, Kelsey from Rivers Rising Bread.
River Rising Bread. Okay.
I'll send you her phone number, Carmen.
Thank you.
What size mixer do you need, Carmen? To have
We have a 40 quart, and so that size is good. 60 is better.
60 is better. What time would you want to come in on Thursday?
I would come in at 6. Or I can come in earlier if you guys are using or the equipment.
I'll reach out to our baker and see if we can accommodate.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
For sure.
It's cool. That's really cool.
Oh, that's great.
Community.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Very nice.
I can't tell you how stoked I am. We got our first sign
Cool. Cool.
up. Boom! It makes me so happy.
That's great.
Thanks, everybody.
I just signed up,
Yay, Paige.
but it didn't give me the discount.
Oh, we'll make it square. We'll
Okay, I was like, wait, I just.
Did you make
I was like, was this a
dumpling?
trick?
Did you put dumpling in?
Yeah, I put dumpling in it, I paid full price.
Oh, damn. Well,
Is it
we'll
dumpling
make
or
it. We'll make it
dumplings?
up to you.
We'll get that fixed.
You will get that. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice seeing you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Bye,
Great to meet you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Looking forward.
Yay,
Yeah.
thanks, Carmen.
You said the discount will last for an hour? That code's good for an hour?
Yes. If it doesn't work, just pay for it, and I will honor that.
Okay. Let me figure
Okay.
my life out in the next hour.
Okay.
Me too.
And good luck
Okay.
with your dog, Oriana.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye,
Ciao.
Victor.